as I was preparing, not necessarily for today's session, but as I was preparing to get on a call with Denzel, maybe about a week or a week and a half ago, our call was not necessarily concerning this project, but it was a usual check-in that I have with him. And thank God for Denzel. So I'm so happy I got in on his early, like Denzel, when you first started creating content, I think you had a lifetime partnership or access, maybe like the first 2 or 3 years of creating content.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm like super happy that I got in on that early because life happens. And though I'm supposed to stay in touch with Denzel like every month, it doesn't necessarily happen. But Denzel is always there and available when I'm ready to talk to him. And I have access to his online platform where you can see the courses and you can see them in order. So, first of all, I discovered Denzel in 2019. How did I discover Denzel? Not on YouTube. It was through my dad. And first of all, my dad used to tell me, like, okay, when I wanted to not be at the bedside and not be at the hospital, he kept telling me to get on LinkedIn, get on LinkedIn. And I'm like, what's LinkedIn is where like old people are. I'm not going to find anything I want on LinkedIn. I did not go on LinkedIn. So, and then my dad is very much particular about his money. So sometimes when he talks about money, I don't necessarily listen. For some reason, this time the Holy Spirit told me to listen to him when he started talking about this guy, Denzel. So I started watching some of the YouTube videos that he was forwarding me. And I'm not gonna lie, it took me a little while to kind of like understand what Denzel was saying. I had to watch a couple of videos a couple of times to really understand this concept of velocity banking. But when I got it and started to get it and started to implement the velocity banking strategy, and my credit scores started to change, and then getting a personal line of credit, all the good stuff. I knew that I definitely wanted to invest in his program. So, yes, Denzel, it was my dad who forwarded me your stuff. And I'm going to say, like, right now, my entire family, we all Velocity Bank. Like, we don't pay cash for anything. Okay. No, we Velocity Bank and it's working. Everybody's credit score is. So with Denzel, I'm going to say I feel invincible. Of course, practicing money and using money smartly, investing it the right way. I'm still on an entire journey with Denzel. But when I started on his platform, I got to a step where it was specifically about 10xing your income. And so that's where he started to work a little bit more with me on my business. And through my business journey, my business is called We Recruit Solutions, or my agency is called We Recruit Solutions. And so it's a nurse recruiting and consulting agency. Through just the journey of becoming a business owner, becoming an entrepreneur, it's an entire spiritual journey as well. So from the time I met or saw Denzel online in 2019, started to implement his financial strategy in baby steps, step by step, that also simultaneously happened as I knew that I wanted to start a business. I can't remember which one came first. I think they came around the same time, and this was just before COVID. I literally left my program coordinator job. So this is in the public health setting. I was doing program coordination at a local health district, and I left because once again, although I had consistently been making strides, being given leadership opportunities, doing the thing and getting the jobs that most people like, there was still something that just wasn't sitting right with me. I just didn't feel, I guess, a love and belonging. So that's why I had this Maslow's hierarchy of needs up here, because this is one of the first things we learned in nursing school. I don't know if you did. This is one of the first concepts that I even remember in nursing school. And it was just about how people's needs are met and how they can reach self-actualization. And in summary, of course, before we can even become the person that we want to be and see ourselves as great people or doing amazing things and reaching this goal of quote unquote success, our most basic needs have to be met. We need food, water, air. After we have food, water, air, we need to make sure we have safety. We need a home that's comfortable, a car to get to and from places, a job to make sure that income is coming in. Then we're a little bit more focused on our community, deciding who we want to hang with, where do we fit in best, what people, don't make us feel comfortable, types of groups we don't want to associate with. And then we start to build our self-esteem to the point where we are able to, tap into the things that make us us, and then use that to self-actualize. There's an argument that we never really reach that top of self-actualization because as humans, right, we always want more. As humans, we're always growing, we're always learning. So we're always sort of kind of climbing. Just depends on what you're trying to reach and what your goals are. But I think that in 2019, just before COVID hit, when I left that program coordinator job, I wasn't somewhere in like the, I guess, love and belonging. So yes, people would say, Bree, you're so good at this and I can see you doing this and you should, apply to become the assistant medical director or whatever. While in theory, those compliments were always great, there was just something that it didn't fit. So number one, Denzel and his financial strategy, I think, is a big part of safety because with more money, obviously, comes more options. I was newly married at this time, and both my partner and I were trying to focus on paying off debt. We were in a one-bedroom apartment, trying to figure out what our goals were, how long we were going to be doing what we needed to do to get to where we wanted to be. And obviously, finance was a big part of me even being able to just leave a job. Luckily, my husband at the time was still working. I was on his healthcare insurance, and he was very patient with me. He was very patient with me in this desire of mine to figure out what I wanted to do. He was very familiar with this side of me because we had been dating for quite a while, so he knew that this was a part of a need that I had been looking for. And I said to him at that time, I was like, we should start a healthcare and technology business. Like the last course in nursing class, one of the last courses in my last year was nursing informatics. And of all the courses that I had been a part of, that one to me was the most interesting. Looking back on it, I think that I've always been drawn to the opportunity to be innovative, the opportunity to be organizational, and the opportunity to be a leader, but not always a leader in the way that most people might see it. Society, we tend to look at leaders as people who are very sociable, outgoing, loud, or great with people. And I'm not saying that those people aren't great leaders. I'm saying that there are many different styles of leadership. And my leadership was one that I always wanted to be a part of the people that lead, a part of leading projects, a part of managing change, but not necessarily always in the forefront.